The Canadian National Windsurfer Championships for the Export A Cup come to the National Capital Region. Just 25 kilometers up the Ottawa River from Canada's historic Parliament buildings is Alymer, Quebec. Here the river widens to become Lac de Chêne, an ideal location for these 1985 National Windsurfer Championships. Earlier this year at Stanhope Beach, Prince Edward Island, regional winners were awarded the Export A Cup. Here is Lucy Boucher, winner of the women's overall title. Owen Sound, Ontario was the site of the Central Championships. Jens Knopf, here in freestyle competition, won the Export A Cup as the men's overall winner. Now, the Nationals.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Barry Flatman, and welcome to the Alymer Yacht Club, which is the site for the championships. These are the Nationals, the final and most important event in the Export A Cup series. There are athletes here from right across Canada, competitors who have been successful in a series of regional championships. Working with me again today is the world freestyle champion and member of the national sailing team, Derek Wolf. Derek, welcome to Quebec.
Well, thank you, Barry. It's great to be here.
Before we get to the competition, I'd like to ask you about how the competitors feel about the importance of the Export A Cup competitions.
Well, for many of the competitors, this is the competition. They've been training all year for this. They've been going to regattas in preparation, and I think for most of them, this is the big one.
Who are the top competitors here today? Let's start with the women.
Well, in the women's class, unquestionably, Alymer is the girl to beat. She is the overall world champion. She's a local girl here from Quebec, and she's playing to the hometown crowd, so that's a good thing. Lucy Boucher, another girl from Quebec, is also hot on her heels. So I think between those two, those are our top women competitors.
What about the men?
Well, in the men's group, we have quite a mixed bag, and they come from all across the country. Mike Fabro from Edmonton, who won the Western Canadian Championships, will be right in there for the overall. We have Jens Knopf, who won the Central Canadian Championships. He's from Ontario. And we also have Richard Brazeau from Quebec, a local boy who looks very good. He's been training hard. He won the Eastern Canadian Championships. So it's quite a mixed bag from all across the country. We've got some great competitors here, world-class sailors. I think we're going to have a good event.
The 4 disciplines of board sailing will be contested. Up to 7 grueling triangle or course races will be held over 2 days. The slalom, with 2 competitors fighting it out head-to-head. The long distance, over 10 miles, requiring stamina and strength. And the freestyle, precision and strength in a 3-minute routine.
This is the second day of competition. Yesterday, the events were canceled due to the lack of wind. Today, Derek, the conditions have changed dramatically.
Yes, we have quite a bit of wind today, and the stronger competitors are going to come out ahead, I think. The wind is gusting and shifting, so the strong competitors won't get blown off the board, whereas the weaker ones may very well get blown off their board. They will be competing for up to 6 hours, and that's going to take a lot of stamina to be able to sail well right into the last race and sail strongly.
All right, let's get back on the course.
Here's how the course looks. There are 3 yellow marks set in a triangular pattern about 1 kilometer apart. After the start, the competitors race around the outside of the triangle. Then they go upwind to mark number 2 again, around it, and a fast run with the wind at their backs to mark number 1. Around it for the last time, then a final leg into the wind to the finish, which is marked by a red buoy and a committee boat. Strong winds with 20-knot gusts makes for exciting racing. "23-year-old Richard Brazeau takes an early lead. Richard Brazeau sailing hard. Approaching the finish, he leads Dave Welch from Ottawa by 1 tack. And Richard Brazeau wins it. And heavyweight Mike Fabro wins in his weight category.
There'll be more from the Canadian National Windsurfer Championships in just a moment.
In the women's competition, 1984 World Windsurfer Overall Champion Alymer with the red sail takes the lead less than 100 meters from the start. Although the wind is dropping off a little, Alymer holds her lead. Beth Beatson on a different tack, looking for a little extra wind. And Lucy Boucher, currently third, seems to have found some. At the finish, it's sail number 006, Carolina Lee. On day 3, the crowds arrive early as the triangle races resume. Carolina Lee continues to dominate the women on this course. Beth Beatson holds second place, and Lucy Boucher with sail number 191 is third. Carolina Lee will win all 7 triangle races, a tremendous feat even for this world champion. Richard Brazeau leads in the light heavyweight division, and with sail number 222, Jens Knopf leads the medium weights. Though sailing in different weight classes, each competitor is racing for points toward the overall title. Mike Fabro leads in the heavyweight division and will also go on to win all 7 of his triangle races. The finalists in the slalom are determined by double elimination competition. First, let's look at the course. In slalom racing, there are 2 competitors on the course at the same time. The first part takes them up the course into the wind, across the top and down the other side. Then the excitement mounts as they follow a crisscross pattern up and back down the course. The rules allow a buoy to be touched as long as the racer goes around it on the correct side. And finally, it's up the course into the wind again, across the top for the last time, then a fast run to the finish with the wind at their backs. The qualifying races took place well into the late afternoon. In the women's final, it's Lucy Boucher with the white sail against Carolina Lee in the red.
In this gusty and shifty wind, it looked like Caroline had a lead off the start. But here at the end of the first round, Lucy has caught up and crossed ahead of Caroline. The glare from the late afternoon sun makes it hard for the racers to see the marks as they sail downwind. Here's Lucy. She is sailing well. Oh, there's a near miss. These sailors cross many times, so they have to watch out for each other. A smooth tack by Lucy there. Caroline is picking up speed on a gust. Being able to respond to these gusts is very important. Caroline keeps good board speed through this tack. That's important.
Caroline on her final downwind leg will win the gold medal, with Lucy Boucher taking the silver and Beth Beatson the bronze. In the men's final, Mike Fabro from Edmonton with the gray and red sail is up against Jens Knopf with the yellow, red, and blue.
Jens is pumping his sail for every bit of extra speed. Remember, pumping is allowed in slalom racing. Across the top, it looks very close here. Ooh, Jens passes within inches of Mike. Mike does a nice jibe around the windward mark. They crisscross closely again here. Remember, they crisscross 8 times in one race. Jens is still pumping his sail for everything he can get. Jens is responding to the gusts well and doing good jibes around the marks.
And Jens Knopf from Niagara-on-the-Lake will win the men's slalom, with Mike Fabro second and Dan Smith from Halifax third.
the end of the third day. Sunset. Some of the racers have been on the water since 9:30 this morning. With 7 triangle races completed, long, hard. A grueling slalom competition ending in a double elimination knockout for the finalists, meaning 3 and 4 races in a row for some of them. The endurance is beginning to show. I've seen blistered hands, cramped muscles, peeling skin, exhaustion. With the long distance race still to come, 10 miles long, that endurance is going to be tested. And finally, the freestyle requiring finesse, keenness of mind and precision. Halfway through. It's like no other sport in the world.
Day 5, Labor Day, and the crowds increase.
We're just moments away from the start of the long distance race. Derek, there must be almost 100 boats out there. This makes for a lot of action at the start line.
It sure does, Barry. These guys will be jockeying for a position before the start because they want to be in the best spot to get into the best wind right away. That's the key element in a race where there's a lot of people on the starting line and there's big numbers.
Well, we're about 5 minutes away. I think you better get going if you're going to make this.
Okay, I'm on my way.
Good luck.
So Derek trades his microphone for a life jacket and joins the competition. Let's look at the course. The start line is close to shore, so the crowds will have a good view of the action. From the start line, there's an upwind leg toward a yellow mark just off Alymer Island. Then downriver, zigzagging past a second mark to a third. Then directly toward a fourth mark, only a few yards from the spectators. The competitors then race a second time around the course, finishing up by actually running up onto the shore to the finish line, marked by an Export A Cup banner. Close to 100 competitors are on the start line, counting down the seconds to the starter's horn. And the race is on. The racers across the line first are sailing in clean air and have a real advantage. And the first woman to finish is Beth Beetson, who has to be very pleased with this victory. The second place woman is Carol Ann Lee.
We'll be back with more Export A Cup racing right after this break.
freestyle competition is by far the most crowd-pleasing. With the competition area set close to the shore, everyone gets a good show. And first up is Lucy Boucher.
Lucy Boucher begins her routine in front of the committee boat on which the 5 judges mark her performance. There's a nice stern dip. Clue first sailing and a nice transition into an ever-roll. Here she is doing a rock and roll rail ride. She shows good form. Smooth moves. There's an inside the boom sail 180. There's a sail 180 while sitting on the board, a difficult move in these winds. There's a little bit of fun. And then another rail ride. Ooh, she loses it here. Oh, beautiful, back to sail on the rail. An excellent routine for Lucy. She'll be happy with that.
Next, in a duck costume, is Carol Anna Lee. Freestyle competitors are awarded points for originality of costume as well as excellence of execution.
Here's a stern first rail ride with a nice splits on the rail. Caroline would like to do well in this event to make up for the second place that she had in the long distance. Here she is inside the booms on the leeward side with the sail 180. Ooh, a nice sail 360, a good move. She's flowing well in this routine. Oh, off comes her hat. There's a sail 360, very well executed. It looks like she's preparing for her dismount. She's done a nice routine, so she will be happy with it, I'm sure.
Live music, a first, provides the accompaniment for Richard Brazeau's routine.
Richard's doing a nice rock and roll rail ride here. He's doing his routine well-timed with the music. Although his routine is crowd-pleasing, at this level of competition, the judges are looking for higher technical difficulty. Here's a duck tack with a little water splash. Here Richard's back up on the rail, a pirouette on the rail. He's really grooving to the music here, with a tack and a dismount, a flip through the boom.
Next up is my colleague, Derek Wolf.
There's a rock and roll rail ride. There's a sail 180 on the rail. There's a pirouette with a sail 180, and now clue first back to sail. Here we have a step out of the boom, and there's a duck under the sail with the reversal of direction. Preparing for the dismount, and it's a lying on the rail.
Warren Toes must place well to have any chance at the overall title. And we're told that he has a very unusual trick.
Warren is a world-class freestylist who does some great moves. He pulls his sail out of the board and stands it upside down. We'll see that in a minute. There, he's got the sail out, and he performs tricks with the sail in his arms. Fritz Schahn from Germany first invented these moves, and Warren is doing a very good job with them right now. There's a sail upside down on the rail. He's getting the sail back onto the board, preparing for his dismount. Oh, a nice pirouette. A great routine.
So the competition is over, and the results have been verified. The women's overall champion is Carol Anna Lee from nearby Gracefield, Quebec. Taking the silver is Lucy Boucher, and the bronze, Beth Beatson. Mr. Bruce Bone, manager of promotions for RJR McDonald Incorporated, presents the Export A Cup to Carol Anna, the 1985 Canadian National Women's Champion. Mike Fabro from Edmonton, Alberta wins the men's overall title. Once again, Mr. Bruce Bones makes the presentation of the Export A Cup on behalf of RJR McDonald Incorporated. Second place and silver medal goes to Jens Knopf, and the bronze to Warren Toes from Oshawa, Ontario.
This is Mike Fabro, the 1985 men's overall champion. Mike, congratulations. Well done. You've been 4 years in the making on this one, always the underdog. How does it feel to be the champion?
It feels great. I'm really excited. I felt really strong. I'm just ecstatic about my results, and I don't know what to say.
Great. Well, congratulations once again. With the award ceremony coming to a close and the Export A Cup having been presented to our two overall champions, Carol Anna Lee and Mike Fabro, Derek, I'd like to take this opportunity to say what a pleasure it's been working with you throughout this series. And in particular, this event, we had some tremendous competition.
Well, thank you, Barry. There's no question that these are some of the top sailors that we have in this country. Many of these competitors, in fact, are using this event as a means of hopefully gaining an Olympic berth for the 1988 Olympics.
So the Canadians will be there on an international level.
There's no question. We have some of the top competitors in the world in this country.
All right, thank you, Derek. So for Derek Wolf and myself, this is Barry Flatman saying so long from the Canadian National Windsurfer Championships for the Export A Cup from Aylmer, Quebec.
Coming up next on Wide World of Sports, a documentary on the world's top professional squash players.